A discussion of related games. Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is an open-ended country life RPG. This game gives players the freedom to do what they want. Foraging, fishing, cooking, fighting, mining, growing crops, raising livestock, and socializing with the townsfolk. It supports maximizing for players to play online together as well. The style of this game is retro pixel art, but it expresses a world with minimal art resources. The game's map design and environment art played a crucial role in the narrative expression and game diversity. I used search engine to find related articles and videos on Stardew Valley design. Most were analysis and researchers on game mechanics and systems, but I want to know more information about level design and how to use pixel art graphics. I didn't find the thing I want, so I will analyze it myself. Since the background of my game is a cat planet, and I only found some natural pixel materials, I plan to make a forest scene for the time being. Well, I'm going to borrow Stardew Valley's map design idea. This picture is a good forest scene, and I will analyze the design of the particle map next. Geology is divided into 4 types: grassland, soil, sand, and water. There are 3 changes in height, that is, great, flat, and low. Among them, grass accounts for the vast majority of the places. On closest inspection, the grass has 3 color differences. It looks like regular grass, slightly taller grass, and shaded grass. Then, there are 3 major types of declarations, divided into large, medium, and small, corresponding to different heights and volumes. The tallest and largest declarations are trees. There are 2 types of trees in this picture. The bushes are medium height and varied in size. And here are 2 types of bushes in this picture. Then, there is 1 stump. The lowest and smallest declarations are flowers and plants. This picture has 3 kinds of flowers and 3 types of grass. They are all similar in size, color, and height, but with subtle differences. They look great together. Moreover, the distribution of these declarations is also designed, especially the distance between obstacles and empty roads. They are a good guide for players. Generally, it's best to have 2 to 3 types of declarations. They should not be placed too close together, and the map needs enough empty space. Hopefully, these findings will be helpful for subsequent game development. 2. Game Development Progress Report. Week 11. Pixelize GUI and simplify vertical lines. Everyone received the UI I designed last week, and then I made a pixelate design for this UI. On the left is a picked up props, and on the right is the cat owned by the player and the status of the cat. The lower right corner shows the time and bootstraps dialog with the current task. In the lower left corner are instructions and settings. I need to use script to activate the UI. For example, the blue energy bar on the top of the screen, that is, the UFO fuel that will limit the movement range of the player, making it more difficult for the players to catch kittens. Now building the functions by the script, I found that there are some functions are temporarily unavailable, but the UI has been designed, which will bring additional confusion to players. For example, the black cat shadow on the right. The player naturally thinks that those cats are inactive, so when one cat has been caught, they're trying to catch the second one. It turned out that there was no way to capture the second cat, and I have to explain to everyone. Even though I have told them before there is only 1 time for 1 cat, they will still try. Well, my design goals have been achieved. The players will naturally want more cats to fill the gaps. But because I have no idea how to write the code for that, I cannot achieve the function to catching several cats simultaneously, and this game design is undoubtedly a failure. So I directly removed the other grids in the future, and most players will not try to catch several cats at a time. Later in playtesting, I also found that players would try to click the search button in the lower left corner because they would need to remember what functions were available. Unfortunately, I don't have time for this one, so I just removed the button and added a text box to remind the players how to operate it. I marked the player's goal in the lower right corner for symmetry. The result is fewer questions they ask. They focus on finding the kittens and kidnapping it back to base. The well-designed UI and programming inability remind me of a concept. Players don't expect messy game that you didn't polish and design. They're confused why this thing is so ugly, weird, and doesn't work. So if I can't do it or can't do it well, don't be greedy. Just delete it and don't show it to players. See what you have done, then combine and polish them reasonably to ensure that this part's quality is harmonious and beautiful enough. Do not end entities unless necessary. So I reviewed my vertical slides target again. Initially, I planned to make the pickup function, the backup system, and the story system. However, due to the limited time, there is no way to make particle effects, so I delete some of them and do not do it. Then I found that I still need a simple UI system, including a starting page, loading page, pausing page, and dash page. Then I adjust the page because default setting of the top-down engine do not fit my game. The placement of my UI cloud in the engine turned out to be a big problem because the screen was on the top. Even if it's transparent, it could make the lower layer bottoms ineffective, so I had to turn it off at first. If the cloud layer is at the bottom, it will be inexplicably unable to display normally. So my solution is to split the original large clouds into 4 parts, up and down, left and right, and leave the empty part in the middle. Then put the bottom in the middle of the interface, and I can ideally avoid the collision of the top layers. Week 12, keywords, debug, Catsland function, map fix, special effect fix, asset fix. Last week, I did a lot of sound design and drawing of additional arts assets, so I will need to put it all in the game for debugging and polishing. About this week, I will focus on polishing the adaptability of existing resource. I couldn't finish the function of sneaky and catching cats in a week, so I deleted it. The UFO's mobile fuel system is done, and the UI is also worked. During the playtest, the player reported that the energy consumption was too fast, and there is no supplementary means. There is only death and concentration to continue the game. It's a bad feeling, and no one likes to fail. Only then did I realize the problem with the design, because the original plan was to pick up resources and reflection energy, but now the program can't do it, so I can only modify the design. So I increased the energy points of the UFO, but I still faced the death problems. Some players give me feedback that suggests the energy should be recovered when returning home. This is also a design I should have thought of, and I implement it quickly in terms of code. Next is about the design of the map. Initially, my map was randomly placed, and there was no collision function for trees and objects. After I added collisions, I found that the obstacles were too dense, and some things could not be obstacles. Thinking logically, a small flower would hide the UFO's flag function, which is unreasonable. So I did a map redesign. My design was a bit messy initially, and after a few playtesting, I changed many things. For example, my flowers and some small declarations were very dense and random, which made the whole look uncomfortable. Then I reduced the amount of them. It looks better. Another problem of my design is when the player sees the cat, the player will be very excited and then rush to catch the cat. After catching the cat, the player will ask a question, "Where am I?" They lost in the map. Even if the energy power of the UFO is increased, it is possible for the player to use up all of the control by getting lost and dying. Then the kitten will release. My map design was kind of confusing at first. Everything looks the same. My solution is to draw paths on the map, then place the base in the center of several roads, and as long as the player can find the road, they can return to the base. Another design is to add a small map to show players where they are. In this way, you won't get lost. The adjustment of the sound is also integrated based on players' feedback. There are environment sound effects, cat running sound effects, the cat call sound effects, cat catching sound effects, and successful cat catching sound effects. With these sound effects, the feedback of cat and cat have been significantly improved, but it needs to be more prominent. So I added the effect of camera shake in the process of UFO sucking cats. I will find the right visual effect later. At the last production, I modified the animation of the UFO to make it look better with some size changes. There is also the changes of color of the map background, which has become brighter. The original picture should be a little bit darker, especially for the cover, which is relatively dark and still needs more improvements, but I don't have enough time, so this is what I can do now. 3. Discuss the next steps. The game has been launched on Edge.io and supported full screen play on the web. A local version of the game for Mac and Windows have also been released, and you are welcome to try and comment. Thank you.